Hello, everyone, and welcome to Thoughts from the Throne 25. To begin with today, I want to talk about the WWE's Royal Rumble 2020. Happened last Sunday, and I thought this year's Royal Rumble was excellent. I thought it was really good from top to bottom. I really enjoyed it. Kudos, WWE. I give credit where credit is due. Great job with the Royal Rumble. Now, I know there were some people online, some of the more critical fans, they were upset that Brock Lesnar dominated the first half of the match. And looking back at that, I just think Brock Lesnar was being Brock Lesnar. And if they were going to make a big deal about the champion entering the match and being number one, he certainly had to be impactful. So that didn't bother me at all. And the guys he eliminated, when people were worried about them being buried or whatever it was, it doesn't really do any damage to them. It wasn't a scenario that buried them in any way, shape, or form. And probably the biggest thing that happened out of all that is just guys were upset that their favorites were in the match early and they got threw out very shortly, and Brock Lesnar was the one that eliminated them. Which, when it was all said and done, that was the point, because we have Drew McIntyre be the one to ultimately eliminate Brock Lesnar in a very star-making moment. And that was cool. That made the Brock build worth it, because it was kind of passed off to Drew there. And then as the match went on, obviously the Edge return was huge and it was enormous, and it was so cool. It was so great to see him come out and get that reaction. And for him, it's just very cool that he is in a position physically where he can wrestle once again. And it's also cool that he gets to go out now on his terms when he wants to. He gets to kind of choose his career as it winds down, and he gets to have the matches that he desires, as opposed to being just like immediately stopped and having to retire. So it's very cool that he's back and he's doing it on his own terms. The very end of the match was very cool. How it was Edge, Roman, and Drew. Ultimately ended up being Roman and Drew eliminated him. And really, like, Drew is a guy I have pushed for a long time. Whenever he got released from the WWE, whenever it was, 2012, 2013, whatever, I was blown away, because he's a guy that has so much potential and the ability to be a top guy for a long time to come. And then I got to work with him in different areas, in TNA, and I really pushed hard for him in TNA to be one of the guys to build the company around. And when he came back to WWE, it was very great to see him back, and now it's great to see him truly getting an opportunity to compete for the spot I feel like he deserves. I think he's a guy that would make a great champion, and he's a guy the company can build around. I definitely think he's a cornerstone of any company he's in. Speaking of little or big things anyway, Edge coming back was like a big deal. I know he's an older guy. Something I've seen recently online, probably on wrestling Twitter more than anywhere else, should old guys beat young guys, or should the young guys, the young talent, always beat the older talent or the veterans? It's like a big debate that goes on. And it comes down to this, like, age is really irrelevant. If you can still go in the ring, if you're still entertaining and you're still good and you have a lot to contribute to the show on a full-time basis, age is irrelevant. Talent is what's relevant. If you're talented, you should be utilized to the best of your ability. Okay, now I gotta admit, I am super excited about this. I'm ecstatic, and it's nice that this became a reality. What you're looking at here is the WWE Network Spotlight Series. It's a figure that falls into the Elite Collection, and it is Matt Hardy, along with Vanguard 1, my hologram, and Skarsgård, the dilapidated boat. Yes, two of my non-pulse having brothers, Vanguard 1 and Skarsgård, the dilapidated boat, have made it. They're an action figure. They have made it. They have done it. And I'm very happy for the effort that Mattel put into this to make this. I know Ringside Collectibles, they were pushing real hard to try and get this figure out. It was going to come out earlier, but that particular figure and set got canceled. It was an Ultimate Deletion set, so they made this one. So I'm just very happy this is out, and I'm very happy and very honored and very humbled that the Ultimate Deletion is being remembered. Myself and Bray Wyatt worked very hard to try and make it as good as we could. It was kind of an uphill battle for both of us, but we truly did that, and we had such a great time together. I can't put Bray Wyatt over enough. Something else that I was wanting to touch on today is a very tough subject to talk about, but something I definitely wanted to address, and that was the death of Kobe Bryant and his daughter. It happened about a week ago. It totally moved everyone in the world Kobe Bryant, one of the most well-known celebrities on the planet, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, and a person who the last few years has just shown to be like a great family man and shown how much he cared about his family and how much he was investing into his family now and how much he loved all his daughters. There was a helicopter crash where Kobe and his daughter, along with several other passengers, died, and he was actually taking this helicopter to go to a practice, and he was doing it so he could spend more time with his kids. That was the whole point of taking this helicopter ride, so he wasn't stuck in traffic. And it's just a very harsh, brutal reminder of no one is guaranteed tomorrow. None of us are guaranteed tomorrow. You really do have to live for the moment. You have to live for the day, and you have to remember all the people that are important in your life, your closest family and friends, your loved ones. Make sure you tell them that you love them and do all you can to cherish all the time you get with them, because you never know. Tomorrow is not promised to any of us. All right, it's fan question time. This week's question comes from my buddy Max over in the UK. His Twitter is @MaxMFBrand, and Max asked me, who is your favorite fictional heroes of all time and favorite villains of all time? And which ones have inspired you personally? Could be from film, television, or literature, anywhere. All right, Max, that's a good question. I would say, as I grew up as a little child, my favorite superhero was Spider-Man. But as I got older, I was a little more drawn to superheroes that were more conflicted, I would say. Punisher is probably my favorite superhero. I'm also a fan of like Dexter and Jack Bauer. They both fall into that superhero role, if you ask me. And I think all three of those characters are all somewhat conflicted in their personalities and just their traits in life. And I like them because they have a bit of an edge to them. I don't like someone who's just like over the top, too much of a good guy. So those are my favorite good guys. As far as favorite villains, I would say Russell Edgington from True Blood is the first person that really stands out to me as being my favorite villain. He's just so much fun to watch, but you understand his motivation as well. Plus, he's just like over the top, insane, batshit crazy, which I love. From real comic books, I would probably say the Joker, like the Joker that was portrayed by Heath Ledger in the Batman movie. That is probably my favorite villain of all time. Huge fan of him, and that performance was absolutely incredible. Okay, I've been meaning to answer this question for a while. I just hadn't gotten around to it. Someone had asked me a few weeks back, who is King Maxwell's favorite wrestlers? On WWE, beyond a shadow of a doubt, it is Bray Wyatt. That's probably because they've met one another, they're friends, and King Maxwell and Bray Wyatt have a wonderful rapport. But like anytime we're watching any WWE programming, the first thing Maxwell asks me is like, hey Dada, is the Firefly Funhouse going to be on? I love the Firefly Funhouse. So that is definitely Maxwell's favorite guy overall. Someone who has just recently became Maxwell's favorite is Orange Cassidy from AEW. Maxwell thinks he's hilarious. He does the whole thing with the pockets in the hand, the acting real cool, the soft kicks, boom, 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 boom. And he does the little thumb like that. Oh my God, it's too much, but Maxwell really does. He digs Orange Cassidy right now. He asks if he's on if AEW happens to be on. Okay, it's one of my favorite parts of each episode of Thoughts from the Throne, and that is my television updates. Because I loved The Sinner season 1 so much, and I thought it was amazing and epic, and the songs that were on the soundtrack, I had to download them because I became obsessed with them and whatnot. Before I jumped into The Wire, I went ahead and watched The Sinner season 2, and I thought it was great as well. Bill Pullman was awesome. The kid who played Julian was awesome. It was a good story. Carrie Coon is always great. So I really enjoyed The Sinner season 2, and I'm hyped that The Sinner season 3 is about to start on USA Network. I have jumped into The Wire. I'm 6 episodes in, and I'm really starting to get into it, and I'm enjoying what I'm seeing so far. And it's got a different feel to any show I've really watched, so I think that is going to add an extra layer to it for me. So anyway, that is this week's Thoughts from the Throne. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you next time. You guys be well. Work hard.